the first thing I had heard about what it affected specifically was the bathroom issue. So my first reaction was, okay, one more time, again, here we go again. And then the more I learned about the entire scope of everything it covered, and specifically everything that was now not a protected class, basically, I was shocked more than anything, because it's one thing to go backwards in trans rights and in queer rights, but to go this far back, like straight back into the 30s in terms of social acceptedness, it completely shocked me. I was infuriated more than anything. Well, so that's always been an anxiety for me, for sure. I don't like using public bathrooms to begin with. I think they're gross, so I've never had a fun time being in public in that regard. After I came out, it was a lot more anxiety-inducing, for sure, since I'm, pre-HRT and I don't conventionally pass for cis, which, well, whatever, but definitely now, especially being at a state institution as a student and knowing that the school that I attend is planning on following HB2 law, it really is. I hate going out of my way to use the restroom. I don't like anything to do with it. And on a school day, I wait, or I'll go, like before I go to class, or I'll plan breaks, or I'll have someone come with me and I'll use the women's room if it's like at the cafeteria and it's really busy. There's so much political bullshit that's tied up in this, because they've, politicized trans bodies and queer bodies for this kind of thing. And the ideal response, in my humble opinion, would have been to outright say, like, we are committed to maintaining the dignity and safety of our students, and we're not going to let this affect the way our students are treated on campus. We are committed to protecting students of X, Y, and Z class because they are disproportionately attacked in that way.
My name is Charlotte Jane Bogus, originally born and raised in West Virginia. Came to North Carolina in 1993. Been here 15 out of the last 22 years. Before my teens, I started dressing, getting girls' clothes and dressing up. I knew then it was like wrong, or it was bad, and I had to hide it. But even started buying women's clothes, girls' clothes in my early teens. My first person that came out to was my mom. She caught me cross-dressing in 1985. And it was awkward. She sat me down for a mother-son talk, and I spilled it all out, how I felt like I was a girl. I was 14 at the time, and how I felt. I told how I felt and why I was doing the dressing, and her eyes were just red and teared up the whole time, because it really bothered me. I mean, it really upset her. And then she told me point blank, do not tell anyone. Do not tell anyone this. Transgender people are just people who are not comfortable or believe they are what they're born as. They're not the gender they were born as. We're a good 15 years behind the gay rights movement. It takes time to people to accept things, that, to accept people who are different from themselves. They just need to learn to be around them. Eventually this will be just seen as a discrimination. I mean, how I feel about it, I mean, it's legalized discrimination against me, but, I mean, I've never had that before. I've never had laws that were actually targeted against me for just being me.
My roller derby name is Michelle Obamia, but my government name is Bethany Cook. I came out when I was 37. It was very late in life. I had been in a very toxic relationship, a long-term marriage to a man. I had remained closeted for a lot of reasons, primarily due to my parents' religious background, them being Mormon, LDS. I remember distinctly my brother. He absolutely refuses to speak to me. He was incredibly bitter by it all, but it came across almost like I was an embarrassment to him. Not that it was morally objectionable, but it was just an embarrassment. And again, my own brother who lives one street behind me, he will not even pet my dog because my dog belongs to a gay person. I was so shocked and hurt that, my own state would consider me less than. And that is how I felt. I felt less than. I didn't feel human at all. I felt like the state that I paid taxes to, that I had worked in, that I am legally bound to live in. I have a custody order that requires me to live in North Carolina. I'm legally bound to this state, and they don't consider me human. And I was devastated. I have several friends who are trans. I fear for their safety. I fear for myself and my partner's safety if we were to go into a restroom together. She's obviously not ultra feminine. And we've had instances where, she will get the eye rolls or I'm in the wrong bathroom. I'm worried that the Gestapo is going to be called to come monitor her genitalia in the bathroom. This has the potential to make every single LGBT person homeless. This has the potential to make every LGBT person jobless. How does bathroom safety have anything to do with that? Nothing. It doesn't. This is plain fear and bigotry. That's all it is. We have to show them that we are people, that we're, living, breathing human creatures who have talents and who have, wonderful things to offer the world. We're not sexual deviants. We just want to be left alone. We want to live in peace and we want to have equal rights.
My name is Sharon Westfall. I live in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. I am almost 55 years old, and I transitioned about 1 year ago. But my earliest memory as a child is going through the hamper and trying on my mother's clothing. I knew from the very earliest of my recollection that inside I was a girl. But I learned very quickly through external feedback how unacceptable that was for somebody born, for all intents and purposes, male. The importance of passing is a very complicated issue. It's, I think, a closely held dream for people who are binary trans. So binary trans people want to be fully their adopted gender, as opposed to people who refer to themselves as genderqueer, who are in the middle and blend elements of both genders as they will. So for the binary trans people, passing is the ultimate dream. In terms of its importance, I think the importance of passing stems from society's pressures. So with the passage of HB2, if I pass 100%, no one's going to call the cops. No one's going to question whether I have a right to be there. I'm 6'1", 245 pounds, broad-shouldered, so I still have a lot of masculine cues. Passing to me is only important in that it allows me to not be harassed by people. I don't mind that people know I'm trans. I tell people I'm trans. There are straight bars I go to for listening to music and talking to people and enjoying being out. And I immediately tell people that I'm trans. My reaction to HB2 is so hard to verbalize it. I'm pulled in so many ways. Certainly anger. How could they do this to me? I'm not hurting anybody. I've done nothing wrong. I pay my taxes. I've worked hard. I'm very honest. I'm kind to people. How could they do this to me? What have I done to deserve this? And that was probably more of my initial reaction. But more and more as time goes by, it's turning into sadness. I am so sad for what this says about us as a people, a state, and a society. That they think this is the important problem to solve among the myriad of issues we face of poor people, children not receiving the food they need, educational issues, that this is what they felt needed a special session to make sure that trans people can't use the appropriate restroom for their identity. So I'd say right now it's mostly sadness and a lot of disappointment. I definitely feel at risk from this bathroom provision. In a perfect world, I think people of all kinds should react in horror at the passage of a law like HB2. It wasn't so long ago in our history that we were using similar kinds of laws to oppress African Americans.
The first time I realized I was trans, and it's honestly a situation I can look back now and tell you. At the time, I didn't know what I was feeling, honestly. I was in kindergarten, and we were all playing dress up like kindergartners do. And I found this like really weird fishing vest. And so I put it on, and the first thing I said was, "I'm the daddy." Kids playing up. And then after that, it was just a series of, this doesn't feel right to me. Same classroom, kindergarten. I was looking at my yearbook, and we had one huge table about like this, and it was girls around it, all the little desks. And then there was another one over here, and it was all boys, and then there I was, like, with this long ponytail. And it was cool to kind of look back and, like, know, but not really know. I really experienced transphobic behavior was when I was at a bar in Hickory, a gay bar in Hickory at that, and I was there with my girlfriend, and a guy asked, "Are you a boy or a girl?" And I was like, "I'm a boy," like any other boy would answer. And so he actually felt up my chest, and this was before I'd had surgery, and I was really taken aback because although this person was really drunk, it's still way out of context and not even remotely acceptable. And so after he did that, he was like, "Well, you may have him bound down, but you'll never be a man." Just to be to live in North Carolina, have, my fellow peers openly voicing their whatever opinion on whatever social media platform, hearing people stand behind this, it really makes me reevaluate my whole setting. The night that it was actually, brought down and everything, me and Maya talked about just moving to the border, the Virginia border. We could still work from home or, work wherever and just commute. Just to have that thought enter my mind. I mean, I can't even tell you. I knew from the beginning that it wasn't really going to change what I was going to be doing. It would hurt a lot of people in the process.